We are continuing our work on our 7-step process to release the year. I just added to the chat room, and I will be sure to put these on a recording also. Two things. One are the questions for the forgiveness step, which is what we're working on this week. And we'll go over those a little bit. And the second thing is a link to the class through Center for Enlightenment that happened yesterday on forgiveness. And it includes a video with my spiritual teacher, Jane Elizabeth Hart, and what she learned about forgiveness the most. So we have a wonderful story, touching, moving, hitting story about one of her daughters being murdered and her process of forgiving the person who did that. And I'm not going to go into it here. I wouldn't do it justice. But her story is powerful, and it hits home the importance and possibility of forgiveness. We're going to be releasing our disappointments and difficulties today because that's what we've been working on this week. But we want to, again, stir up those forgiveness needs. One of the practices that I have found difficult over the years is forgiving myself. I am a very, I won't say a very easy forgiver, but mostly, mostly I am. And I think for most of us, sometimes it can be easier to forgive somebody else than to forgive ourselves. And a lot of times the people in our life who are there to forgive, for us to forgive, are reflecting something within us we need to forgive anyway, or we're not wanting to forgive them because if we forgive them, then we're going to have to be accountable ourselves for something that we are holding against ourselves. And to be able to forgive when it's difficult is powerful in that we are making a statement, a stand for ourselves, our higher self, if you will, that we are not affected by the actions or behavior of another person. We are not affected by the outcome of a situation that maybe we wish had gone a different way. So it's a relinquishment. When I work with people on forgiveness in my practice as a therapist, I like to redefine it first. I actually have some videos on YouTube called "This Ain't Your Mama's Idea of Forgiveness." And there are 3 parts to it. And the first part is what forgiveness is not, because there are so many conceptions around forgiveness. We've heard forgive and forget, turn the other cheek, and forgiveness can seem like something where we're letting somebody off the hook. And it's really quite the opposite, because it's important for another person for us to hold them accountable when it is an offense that needs someone to be held accountable for. The person who murdered Jane's daughter went to jail, and that was appropriate, of course, but she still forgave him. And when I redefine forgiveness with my clients, I talk about, and in classes, I talk about forgiveness is an acceptance that something has happened, but it's a release of our emotional content, our condemnation around the situation and event. Because if we carry that condemnation, we know it's hurting us. It's not hurting the other person. They could care less about what we are experiencing about them, but it's hurting us. So to be able to release that and to know I am more than this person's behavior. I am more than my personal hurt and anger around what this person did to me. So it's not acknowledging the behavior or the hurt or our own feelings. It's the relinquishment of the negative emotional energy that's going to fester inside of us and create problems for us in the future. And we don't want that. We love and respect ourselves too much to do that to ourselves. And when we close the door, just like when we went through our good times and our gratitude list for the year, when we close the door to those good things, we're not letting them go. We're not letting go of the memories or the good times of those experiences. We're closing the door so we're not staring in the past, and we can be open to new possibilities in the future. And likewise with our forgiveness and looking at our disappointments and difficulties and forgiving them and letting them go, and our hopes and dreams that were fulfilled or unfulfilled, looking at them and letting them go so that we can be fresh and clear for what's coming in the future. Maybe we'll have another forgiveness need in 2023. I say maybe, but likely, likely we will, because we have a pulse and life is happening, and there will be something that comes up that goes against our expectations. So there will be something to forgive, but if we're not carrying past forgiveness needs into that present forgiveness need, then it's a lot easier to stay current. I call it spiritual hygiene sometimes, emotional hygiene, where we're taking care of those things as we go. I'm not perfect at it. I get backed up a lot, but I'm working with this enough, and we can work with these tools enough where, yeah, maybe it happens once in a while. Maybe we can't even help it because we're human, but it doesn't mean we have to stay unconscious. It doesn't mean we have to stay in those old ways of being. We can forgive. So as I was working with this class yesterday that I posted the link for on forgiveness, one of the things that was coming through for me is forgiving myself. And I didn't murder anybody's child. If Jane can forgive a murderer, I should be able to forgive myself, and what is it that I'm holding on to, and what am I getting out of holding on to that? And so these are the kind of questions that we want to be thinking about this year, or this year and next year, and this week especially, as we're working with that forgiveness process. And I was thinking too, as I was preparing for today, one thing to watch out for, if you don't know if you need to forgive yourself for anything, one thing to watch out for is what is your self-talk like? How are you apologizing all the time? Are you deferring to somebody else's opinion frequently? What kinds of things, do you put yourself down? Do you look around and see what you're doing, and are you judging it all the time? And then those are things to look at and to work with, and say, I'm not going to do that to myself in the new year. I'm going to forgive myself and create something different for me, and be able to hold myself differently and carry myself differently into the new year, because 2023 is going to have its ups and downs, and we want to be as clear as possible for that. So the questions I love for this step are, what is the hardest thing to forgive about this year? And if we start with the hardest one, everything else is a little bit easier. There's a story about somebody saying, if you had to swallow 5 frogs and there was a big frog and the rest of them were smaller, which one would you do first? You probably want to do the big frog first, and then the rest of them are not so bad. So that's what this question is to me. If I want to look at the hardest thing that's to forgive about this year and what that is, so that I can forgive it, and everything else is going to feel like, oh, that's okay, I can manage that one. And if I have to spend the most time on that hardest thing, then that's going to be the one that's worth it, and everything else will fall into place. I like this question as well. How is unforgiveness going to affect your life? How is unforgiveness going to affect your life? That's such a reality check, right? Well, I don't want to forgive, or, oh, I still have so much to perfect within myself. How can I forgive myself for all of my mistakes or, whatever? It's like, well, how is that working for you? That's what that question is. How is unforgiveness going to affect your life? If you carry an unforgiveness over into next year, how is that going to manifest? Because it will. It absolutely will. So good to look at. And what is causing you not to forgive? What is causing you not to forgive? Another reality check. I love these questions. I feel like they go in through the back door instead of like, okay, here's all my forgiveness needs for the year. But then the last two questions are about getting real with ourselves. How is this going to work for you if you don't? And what's causing you to not forgive? So here we go. And is it valid that sometimes we don't forgive and we need that for a while? We need to process that some more? Absolutely. Absolutely. And, anger has an energy and it can motivate us and it can do things for us. But, and maybe there's some forgivenesses we will have to carry into next year. That's okay. But let's look at them. Let's look at them and make a conscious decision to do that. Hey, I'm not ready to forgive this. So I'm going to bring this into 2023 with me because I'm not there yet. That is perfectly okay. That is perfectly okay. Then let's do the ones we can for this week to release from the year, because that will be most valuable to us for going into the new year. So I've talked a lot today. We are going to release our steps 1 through 4. The winter sunlight is coming through my window and I haven't quite figured out how to tone that down a little bit. So we're just gonna have to deal with that on my face. But our eyes are gonna be closed, right? So it doesn't matter. We're releasing our gratitude, our good times, our hopes and dreams, our disappointments and difficulties today. So I invite you to sit back and be comfortable. Allow your body to melt into your chair. Take a couple of deep breaths. This is the step that stirs up the most because it's about letting go. It's about a willingness to let go, this forgiveness step. So even though we're focusing on the previous 4, it's there on the sideline, those forgiveness needs, and we're just going to let them. We're just going to let them. That's honoring the energy that they carry. We're not honoring in a way to keep it around, but honoring in a way to let it come up and out. So we picture those 7 steps, those golden, glowing 7 steps. And we are at the base of these 7 steps with our basket of 2022 in our arms. Just feel the energy of all of those items in your basket, all of the gratitude, the good times, the hopes and dreams, and those disappointments and difficulties. We just hold this year with love. We take a deep breath and let it out as we take that first step. We step onto that first step of gratitude. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all the beautiful, wonderful, amazing things that have happened this year. And let those come to mind right now. Let the ones that are at the top of your list come to mind. You don't have to search for dozens, just the ones that float to your mind right now. And feel the gratitude. Feel the gratitude. And we say thank you. Thank you for this year. Thank you for this year and all that it has brought into my life. Feel that love. Breathe it in. And we take the next step of good times. All those joyful experiences and time with friends, family, times on our own that were joyful and filled with perhaps excitement or a peaceful joy. All those experiences have made us who we are today and buffered our challenges during the years. We are grateful for our good times and we acknowledge them because sometimes by the end of the year they're easy to forget. But we want to remember there were good times and there will be good times in the new year. We don't have to cling to the old ones, but we acknowledge them with gratitude. So think of some of those good times that are on the top of your list. And if we release these right now with gratitude and knowing that there will be more good times in the new year. And we are open to those good times in the new year. We take a deep breath and take the next step of hopes and dreams or expectations or unfulfilled hopes, missed opportunities, all these dreams that we had, the hopes that we had for the year. Some of them may have come forth and ended up on our gratitude list or our good times list, and some of them may not have, and they end up on our disappointments and difficulties step, or some of them that just kind of faded by the wayside because they weren't as important as we thought they were. Some of them we take with us in the new year because we still want to accomplish them. All of these are on the step. So much creation energy that has sat within us this year, and just want to sort it out and release what needs to be released and embrace what can be embraced for the new year. And maybe there will be more processing on this step to come, and that's good. We've got till the end of the year. We'll just keep adding to these until we're done. Just let all these float to the surface in your basket of the year. And say thank you. Thank you for my ability to create, my ability to release. And we give all these away right now. Just release them. We release them. We'll hang on to the ones that are going into the new year with us, but we release them too, so they can have room to work out however will best support us in the new year. Take a deep breath and just let them all go. We take the next step, the fourth step of disappointments and difficulties. Such a self-explanatory step. Think about those situations that you wrote about this week, that came to the surface for you, that have been challenging about the year. Maybe they've been challenging and you overcame them, so they also became an item on your gratitude list, a triumph. But it was still difficult, so we can have it on both steps. Maybe there are people who've been challenging this year. And just let those faces come to the surface. Just notice any emotion that's coming along with these. Of course, there will be. Make a commitment to yourself right now to acknowledge the difficulties, the disappointments of the year, people, places, things, or situations that were challenging. But also commit to yourself that you will not let yourself stay stuck in those emotions. You will see what you need to see from them and move forward. So thank you. Thank you for allowing these disappointments and difficulties to arise, and even maybe say a little statement of gratitude for them, because they are that resistance that we experience in life is what makes us stronger. While our ability to move through it is what makes us stronger. Not their existence, but our ability to work through them to the other side. And for that, we are very grateful, because we would just be stuck if we didn't have those challenges to overcome. Acknowledge all of these and release them right now. We know there will be challenges in the new year. So we want to release these so that we're prepared for whatever we need to embrace and move through in the new year. Let's release them. We're near the end of the year, and they're no longer important. They're no longer necessary. And if there's something left to be done, we'll do it. We've just made a commitment to ourselves to do just exactly that. Take a deep breath and we take the next step, step of forgiveness. We're just going to, on this step, since this is what we're journaling this week, we're just going to hold a light on this step. Hold a light for ourselves, our process, our release, our healing at depth. Just invite you to just feel light coming forth from within you, moving through your arms and hands, holding this basket from 2022. Just holding it in your arms. Just visualize light all around you. All throughout these 7 steps. You're never alone when we do this healing work. Any kind of healing work, we are never alone. There's always the energy of the universe in whatever form that manifests for you and your understanding. That support is there. When we gather in times like this, that support is there. That energy, that upliftment, that light. And we hold that for ourselves right now too, with compassion, loving understanding. And most importantly, a willingness to forgive, if not today, soon. Just breathe in that light and let it fill every cell of our bodies. We're going to bring this light with us into our day, into our week. So we allow ourselves in this visualization to just float to ground level with this light all around us, bringing it with us. Breathing it in every moment of the day. We bring it with us to our holiday celebrations. We bring it with us to our writing process on this forgiveness step. And we bring it with us every time we touch in with ourselves, this light of love and grace, compassion. Just feel that in your heart. Put your hand to your heart if it helps. And we take this love and light with us. If you can continue meditating or do some journaling on this forgiveness step, please do so. If you need to begin your day, then just take a deep breath and feel that light that you're bringing with you. Take a couple of deep breaths to help yourself transition. And thank you for joining me with this. It's not always easy to do this work, but thank you for your courage and time and energy that you brought. You have blessed each of us here by being here today. So thank you. My love is with you. My gratitude is with you, and my support is with you this week as we all walk through this together. Have a wonderful week, a wonderful celebration, whatever you celebrate. It's all about the light, and it's all about the love. And we take that with us. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.